We're going to have a pageant every week from now on because it's the only way to get Methodists to sit in the front half of the sanctuary, honestly. Then Mary said, "Here I am, the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be according to your word." And then the angel departed from her. I have been told that I'm difficult to reach. If that's true, and I'm not saying it is, but if it's true, I want to think that the reasons are technical rather than constitutional. I don't think I'm particularly standoffish or aloof. Do you? Do you? No. Thank you. But I hate the telephone. I almost never answer my home phone, which has been kidnapped by outside forces and is now the sole province of telemarketers and the American Red Cross blood drive. I don't like talking on the phone. My cell phone seems to sense this. It's the only phone I know that mutes itself on a whim. It shuts off its ringer for no reason that I can discern. So if you try to call me and I don't pick up, it's not because I hate you or want to avoid you. It just means that I can't hear you. If I could hear you and tell it's you, of course I would overcome my natural aversion and I would pick it up right away. Still, it makes me think, what if my reputation, earned or unearned, for being difficult to reach goes beyond the phone? What if it means that I spend too much time wrapped up in my own stuff, my own thoughts, my own concerns, and that makes it hard for anybody else to get through to me? That might be true. And if it's true when you need to reach me, maybe it's true when God is trying to get through to me as well. I'm getting better at praying. After 34 years as a minister, that's a good thing to acknowledge. I'm getting better at praying, but I don't know that I always remember while I'm praying to listen. I don't know how open I am to really listening for God's word for me in whatever form it comes to me and is available to me. I worry that even as I formulate prayer either alone in private or here in public, I worry that I'm more interested in forming my words than in hearing God's words, whatever they might be. Mary is more open than I am. But still, as you've heard and seen, when a self-identified angel falls out of the sky, she is naturally suspicious. She hears his smooth greeting and is right away put on guard, because Gabriel comes on like some dude at a bar. "Greetings, favored one. The Lord is with you." Am I the only one who finds that just a little creepy? In Greek, it comes out like this in translation: "Hey there, beautiful. Now that I'm here, you're closer than ever to God." I'm just kidding. It doesn't really work like that. Luke is on my side of this whole thing. Luke, he or she, tells us that Mary is not a little bit put off by this. If she were at a bar, she'd slide a few stools over. But she's not in a bar. She's at home. In one of the more powerful depictions of this iconic moment, which has been painted over and over again through the centuries, but in one of the more powerful depictions that I'm familiar with, the Harlem Renaissance painter Henry Ossawa Tanner shows Mary as a young teenager sitting at the edge of her rumpled bed, alone and vulnerable. Maybe it helps a little bit that Tanner departs from the tradition of showing Gabriel as a hunky 25-year-old guy with wings and paints him instead as a shaft of light. But still. How does Mary respond to this angel? According to Luke, Mary sits there, perplexed, pondering what sort of greeting this might be. And I don't think the situation improves, does it, when Gabriel brings up the subject of his visit. Gabriel's intentions, of course, are strictly honorable. He's like Eker. He's just a messenger. He's the messenger of God. He is the messenger of some news. And although we think of it as good news, maybe even the good news, it's not news that Mary is probably ready to hear at that point in her life. Look, Mary, he says, you're going to have a kid. And the kid will grow up to be great. So great. And he's going to make Israel great again. Believe me. But Mary is no pushover. She wants to know how all of this is going to work. And the explanation that Gabriel gives probably doesn't help Mary a lot. You are going to become pregnant. You're going to get pregnant in a way no one's going to understand and nobody's going to believe. Mary's response to all of this is remarkable. All the more remarkable when we really think about it. She says, "Here am I, the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word." Two phrases leap out, and we better unpack them a little bit. The second perhaps leaps out of us first, "Let it be." Made famous by Paul McCartney's song that may or may not be about this moment. The second phrase, though, "the handmaid of the Lord," is one that's worth spending a minute with. Especially in our present moment, in the Me Too moment, the moment when, for many, Margaret Atwood's dystopian work of speculative fiction has become a little bit too real. In her book, The Handmaid's Tale, a theonomy is ruling New England, and a mix of increasing environmental hazards and declining fertility has led to a group of women being forced into sexual servitude in cruel and oppressive ways. We're familiar with this in some fashion. It has so entered our popular culture and consciousness, whether we've read or seen it or not. And so, this word handmaid, and even the phrase handmaid of the Lord, needs some unpacking to be at all palatable. In our present moment, the idea of a woman's body being subject to what is at least traditionally thought of as a male-gendered power needs us to hold it at arm's length, if not to simply reject it. But Mary is a complicated person. A complicated person. At least in the way Luke knows her and describes her and voices her. She is not the meek and mild pushover that we sang about a few minutes ago. She's not the meek and mild pushover of traditional theology. You look for that, Mary, in vain in the pages of Luke's Gospel. This is a woman who questions angels. This is a woman who questions God, who questions authority and hierarchy. This is a woman who a few verses later will proclaim boldly and dangerously her understanding of this project that she is about to co-author with God. My soul magnifies the Lord, right? And my spirit rejoices with God, my Savior. God has looked with favor on me. And from now on, all generations will call me blessed, for God has done great things for me. God has brought down rulers from their thrones and lifted up the lowly. God has filled the hungry with good things and sent the rich away empty. Meek and mild, but I don't think so. But what of this troubling word, handmaid? Here's where my fading familiarity with Greek springs to my aid. But the Greek word is one that's probably familiar to many of us, thanks to the anthropologist Dana Raphael, co-founder with Margaret Mead of the Human Lactation Center in Connecticut in the late 1960s. She revived a Greek word and brought it into English, the same Greek word used here to describe the role of a woman who would stand by another woman in the act of childbirth, helping her in the birthing of a new human creation, and then sticking with her in the sometimes challenging act of breastfeeding, figuring out how to care for this new and precious life. And so instead of that traditional English word handmaid, maybe we can even place the original Greek word doula. And if Mary is the doula of God, perhaps she doesn't think of God in the same gendered way that we so often do. What matters about Mary's response is twofold, and I'll make this point and I'll sit down. The first thing is Mary pays attention. She pays careful attention. She listens. She listens better than I do. She is not difficult to reach. And she listens. Of course, I would like to think that if God were to send me an angel, one that appeared either as a hunky guy with wings or as a shaft of blinding light, I would like to think that I would pay attention to that angel too. But in my experience, God comes to me and comes to us in subtler ways, most of the time. And I think the purpose of a season like Advent, the season of waiting, the season of expectation and preparation, is to remind us to pay attention to the possibility that we have some part to play in God's project, some part to play in this project that's unfolding in front of us that we may not be fully aware of, but we may find ourselves, if we're open to it, to be fully a part of. The second thing is, Mary is cautiously discerning. She takes no angel at face value, but growing thoughtfully comfortable with the strange task that God places in her lap, she embraces it boldly, fearlessly, outlandishly, daring to think that what she gives birth to will upend the world. That's really the message of Mary. And it's a message that she is trying to gift to you and to me. It's a message that I can receive if I'm open to it without having to pick up a phone. I just have to be willing to listen. And to listen. And to listen. Let's listen together. God, you may come to us in ways strange and troubling. Allow us the moment, this season, to be open to you, to be open to your word, to be attentive to your word, to know that your word is not like our words that fill space and time. Your word can change the world if we listen.